How's it going, everyone? This video is going to be part 1 in a 4-part series on daily profiles. So this video will cover London reversal. Let's hop into the PDF and get started. Now the first thing that needs to be understood with daily profiles are the sessions and kill zones. So here on the screen we have kill zones, so you can see Asia, London, here's our New York AM, and then PM. What we're going to do is separate it out, and we're going to focus on London from 2 to 5, and then New York AM. So generally I'm looking at 8:30 to 12. I kind of extend this out to 12 personally. Now what is a London reversal? Well, a London reversal is basically a classic expansion candle. So we open the candle, we make a high, we expand lower to make a low and then close. And then for a bullish example, we open, manipulate lower to expand, and then make our high and close. So what does that look like on the lower time frames? Well, with a bullish London reversal or a bullish classic expansion, we will have our open, we will drop down during London or 2 to 5. This is creating the wick of the daily candle. We'll then change the state of delivery or get a market structure shift. And then New York session will continue off of London's reversal. So London reverses, New York continuation. Similarly here, with a bearish London reversal, we open, we put in a high during London or 2 to 5, change the state of delivery, or get a market structure shift, inversion, however you define it. This London reversal leads into a New York continuation, completing the open, high, low close of the daily candle. Let's go into the charts and go over a few examples of this. So here we are on the daily oil chart. If you notice, we made a reversal right here, so a bullish reversal candle, and then we're getting a continuation higher, and we have internal liquidity right here, so that will be our first target. However, we can trade up to equilibrium of this range. So we'll mark that out. Now dropping down to the 15-minute time frame. So here we are in the 15-minute chart. You can see our equilibrium of the range is marked out here, and that daily fair value gap is here. So zooming in, let's take a look at the daily profile. What I want to look for is go into London. So now, if we're in London, let's see what happens. What do we notice about London between 2 to 5 or right around 2 to 5? We make a move lower, right? And then what do? We reach into the previous range. We have a down close candle, and then we close over this down close candle. So at 2 to 5 a.m., London reverses and changes the state of delivery. So what does that mean for New York? Well, ideally, if we are bullish, we're looking for a continuation higher during New York. So as we approach New York, I'm going to go down to the 5-minute time frame, and let's see what we notice. So here we have 8:30. We're in a consolidation range. Okay, we get manipulation, so accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So ideally, when we get the close over the series of down close candles here, that will form an order block. So now we have done that. So then I can look to take a position here, I stop on this low, and look to target 2R. Let's see how this works out. So here we get tagged in. You notice, series of down close candles into an order block. We now have a propulsion block right here. You can see how that gets retested. And there we go, we hit 2R. So zooming back out to the 15-minute chart, let's take a look at this. You can see between 2 to 5, or London makes the reversal, New York continues. So if we pull up the daily candle, you can see London makes the wick of this daily candle, and then we get a continuation through New York, and that is completing the open, low, high close of the daily candle. So let's let this play out. You can see we go quite a bit higher, but that is catching the New York continuation from London reversal. Let's hop into another example. So here we are on the 15-minute chart. And if you notice, if we're bearish, we want to see what? An open, high, low close. So as we let this play out towards midnight, and then into London session, what do we notice? So here we are in London. And what do we see? Well, we see London sweeps this high here. Now, since this is a little bit messy, I will go up one time frame to the 30-minute chart. If you notice, we have a pretty clear series of up-close candles here to use for our change in the state of delivery. So here we get the change in the state of delivery. So now as I approach New York session, I'd want to see some sort of opposing run or move higher to get onside with a continuation lower. So letting this play out, what do we notice? We get a move higher into these opposing candles or an order block. So I could look to get onside in here for this New York continuation lower. Or what do we have here? Another 30-minute propulsion block in this case. Let's see. That gets retested at 10:30, 8:30, little volume imbalance. We hold that and continue lower. You can see London forms a reversal. New York continues off of that reversal. London reversal, New York continuation. Let's hop into another example. So here we are in our next example, and so let's get to London session. You can see we kind of just consolidate, but where do we reach in London or right at the end of London? Well, we reach for this high here. Now we have a series of up-close candles into that high. So where would our change in the state of delivery be? Right there. So let's see what happens. Here we get a change in the state of delivery. So if I was trading the London, I could look to get onside with a short position here. However, I focus on New York session. Now, as we come into New York, what are the important time levels that we are looking for? 8:30, 9:30. So 8:30 opens and we make an opposing run, right? Since we are looking for a continuation lower and 8:30 moves higher, I see that as a manipulation move to continue lower. So what do we have right here? Well, if we close below this, now we have an order block. We do close below it. So if I want to get onside, I will enter a position there, my stop on this opposing run, and then I'll look to target 2R. And there we go, we get 2R, and we go ahead and make a low right around 10, or another important time level. So you can see London reversal, New York continuation. Let's get into another example. So here we are with another example. Let's see what happens during London. Well, you can see we had some low resistance liquidity, and London made a move higher, running that out. Here is our series of up-close candles here. And there we get a close below it. So if I was trading London, I could look to get onside here. However, I trade New York. So what happens is I enter into New York. Well, here we have 8:30. 8:30, if I'm looking for a continuation lower, I'd ideally like to see it manipulate up, but it manipulates down, which gives me a reason to think we get a retracement. Here we get a retracement back where? Into this previous range here. So I could look to get onside in here for a short to go lower. And there we go, right at 10 a.m. or another important level due to the 4-hour open high-low close, we get a continuation lower. So once again, London reversal, New York retraces into London's range, and continuation lower, creating the open, high, low close of the daily candle. And let's see how this plays out. You can see open, high, low, and then we close in here for the daily candle. Let's go to another example. So here we are on ES, 15-minute chart. Let's see what London does. You can see London, we have this range here. What does London do? It goes and it sweeps out this side of the range. Now, if I'm looking, this series of up-close candles that swept that high would be right here, or this single in this case. That is our change in the state of delivery. So then I'd be looking to this low if I want to get onside for London, or let's see what happens. We have 8:30 news, which manipulates up into London's order block here, and then continues lower. Now, using our important time levels that I talked about in a previous video, what times would I be watching here? Well, 9:30 and 10, right? So as we come into 9:30 here, we get what? A move lower into an important level. And then I'll leave this for the next video. For our last and final example, what do we see right here? Well, we see a sweep below previous day low, a close back inside. And what is this? This is a bullish reversal candle. So I'd be looking for the next day to do what? To trade higher. And with that idea in mind, I'll drop down to the 30-minute chart here. So getting into the next day, let's see what happens as we approach London. So you can see London here from 2 to 5, what happens? We have a move lower, and then we close over the series of down close candles here. So that would be an order block. So as we move into New York, what happens? Well, we come back and retest this level here, and then trade to this high. We can't displace over this high. We come back into the range. Now, if this is going to continue higher, what do I want to see? Well, I want to see the mean threshold of this being respected, which it is, along with midnight open being used as a support level. I'd still like to see this trade higher. We get into the next day. What happens? Once again, London forms a low here, and we trade higher, which would finish off the TP for any position I entered here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learning about the first of 4 daily profiles that I focus on. If you do want to learn about the next ones, make sure you turn on the notifications so you do not miss those videos. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.